It's another week and another brand new episode here on the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm your host, RubyLynne. Before we go too far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell. I don't want you to miss an episode. If you'd like to follow me, your host, you can go to rubylynne.bio where it's all things Ruby. This week's guest is amazing, inspiring, successful. I can't say enough about him. Have you wanted to become a TikTok star? Make more than a full-time income? Well, I've got the guy who is doing just that. And he developed his own style. He is the CougarCrusade.com. So help me welcome Jacob Bos, also known on TikTok as Boss Vlogger. Jacob Bos, welcome, Boss Vlogger of TikTok, king of the CougarCrusade.com. Here you are, Mr. TikTok. Welcome.
Hey, Ruby. How's it going?
Good. This is a podcast version number 2 for us. The first time you were having some internet issues, but I think this is going to be better than the first time because we have so much to talk about.
The first time we kind of went over a bunch of stuff that you actually dove into, so it worked for you. So I think that you're probably going to be able to come back and you probably have it's going to look different to you and to the world when you talk about it. And I love the fact that you see me and you want to help me get out there.
I do. And I have to say, the first time that we did that interview was in the fall, kind of late fall. And you really inspired me. And so I want to thank you for that, because when we did that interview, you're like, why are you not going live on TikTok? And I want to tell you something that happened. You challenged me to go live 30 days in a row for at least 2 hours. In those 30 days, my OnlyFans income doubled. I saw numbers I hadn't seen in 18 months. So for that, I thank you.
It was the first one. It's still going, yeah.
However, things have really just went crazy. So I can't wait to hear your view on the TikTok ban, what it's like after they've reinstated it, because I sure have a bunch of observations. But first, before we get into that, I want people to know who you are. I want you to tell us, how did you end up being on TikTok, making a 6-figure income, and have it as your full-time job? And where did the Cougar Crusade come from? So let's start with that, because that'll tell us what your channel's about and all that fun stuff.
I'm a performer. TikTok's a stage, and I couldn't help myself. I loved going live as soon as it started. I've been going live on Instagram for even beforehand. I was on live on Instagram. It never really kicked. And then so when I tried TikTok originally at political views, it ticked because it immediately gave me reinforcement. So I was like, oh, this is like, you don't even have to work. TikTok's giving you traffic. And so I knew this was the place to go. And I voluntarily fell into it for 3 years before I made any money.
Wow.
I think the fact that I was able to get an audience, I sold merch. So I made some money off of merch. And I tried to do events. I tried to build business because I didn't understand some of the additional value adds that TikTok was actually also offering that have become quite mainstream.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a value adds. We're the world has changed, and yeah, TikTok is like the metaverse. I think it really is. I live in there, but I mean, maybe people found that in the different platforms like Twitch or YouTube before.
Right.
TikTok. After I talked to you, I went to a meeting with some of the execs, and they had a conversation with us about how TikTok has taken over about 60% of the live streaming market share.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I was in Toronto learning about that, and like a week later I was in Miami, I think, where we met, and I was talking to the Streamlabs people or the stream people who work
Right.
in the adult film industry. And I realized, I was like, yo, part of that 60% was you guys, for sure. Like them. Like I was looking at them, I was like, and so right away I realized that I'm in, and I dug in even more because
Yeah.
TikTok is capable of digging into like the full spectrum, and
Hmm.
it's changing the landscape of everything. And yeah, I want to talk about it. I like to vocalize about it. I want to talk to people who are in the industry. I
Yeah.
want to grow with people too. That's what's coming out now. I'm like, because I've talked to the heads, and not everyone sees what I'm seeing. So
Right. Right. Yeah. So I find it such an interesting platform because I exist in the not safe for work realm, and TikTok is ultra safe for work. And so through my TikTok journey, I've had 3 accounts deleted, and I had significant followers at those times, 70,000 the first count, you know. So I've sort of learned by trial and error what I can get away with and what I can't. And so that is this account that I have now. I think I've had the longest of any of them. It doesn't mean I haven't had some warnings. I've had to dial it back.
have you had a
But
suspension?
so the funny thing is, I want to rewind for a moment. That 30 days that you challenged me to go live, 3 weeks and 2 days in, I got a 1 week live suspension. So I technically didn't even get to go live 30 consecutive days. And I'm trying to remember what that suspension was for. I think they said it was something, but it was during a live is when they, and it's funny because I appealed it. I said I was dressed to we weren't even talking about anything sexual at the time that happened. And so what I think happened was the comments were getting filtered, and maybe there were too many sexual comments and it triggered something. I don't know. But that 1 week live band, I did struggle when I got to go live again. And so my second month, my second 30 days, I did not double. My income on OnlyFans didn't equate to the same amount that I did that first month I went live. So definitely it does something to you every time you get your hand slapped on there.
Oh yeah.
What do you say about that?
I would say that there's a credit score there. There's a credit score
Okay.
that you're building, and depending on how much time you've given, and also how much revenue you've gotten on the app. So I think
Okay.
a lot of times, like the app is going to recognize and support creators who are bringing revenue right onto it because it gets a huge cut. And
Right.
so if you're doing stuff and it's aware, and
Uh-huh.
it's not pro TikTok, it's gonna be like not have a problem sending those people to somewhere where it's going to generate revenue for them because the app knows what's happening. And a lot of times,
Yeah.
in my mind, again, a lot of this is just speculation, but you know, it caught something. And it's funny that you mentioned because you're not exactly sure what happened. And so, and I guess I'd love to segue into the fact that my best friend started an agency. And so, and I think she's recruited you. And I
That
think
I've just joined. Yes.
and
I'll take all the help I can get.
I want to connect with a lot of, I think, adult creators because she's the perfect person for that. And this is going to be the
Uh-huh.
perfect agency because this is the place where we're discussing that. And what happens is in your ban, with like someone like an agent, they'd actually see the words that triggered it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exciting to me because I want to follow the rules. I want to, have my live feed pushed out, so that I
Well,
want.
you'll know what triggered it because in moving forward, like because I've had a ban recently, and I found the words that they used, they accumulated a set of sentences, and the ban came, and I'm assuming that it was a real ban because the people who reported me reported. It's not
Oh.
consideration, but you had an audience that was using you and would probably gearing you into divulging stuff that they then accumulated, and they
Oh.
possibly for me, it was three separate people. They had
Okay.
subscribers and team members, and
Wow.
then names. And I heard, so I said their name. This is really cool information. I said their names, and then so when it showed up, I had the name and then back door. I was saying, hey, something about sliding in your back door, Janice or whatever it was. So Janice reported. This is my theory. And then, oh, Josie or Veronica, something in the mouth, right? Boom, and then it was these separate ones. So it wasn't even. I went to get a coffee. I was literally out getting a coffee, and I came back. She was gone. So it wasn't for that actual instant. And this is actually it's super. This makes you feel better once you understand it. Yo, okay. And then once I saw the words come in, and I was like, okay, I got trapped. And then it starts to change the way you behave as well, and that behavior, because you got people. If you got a ban, and if you're not doing as well, somebody found you, and you need to overpower it. And the way you overpower trolls, and we can talk about how to get over trolls as we move forward. There's lots to talk about. You know what I mean? Because once you learn people, because there's good ones and there's bad ones. It's got a social credit score, like and their eyes are the app's eyes, right? And so people giving you stuff, it likes that. It's like, yo, this woman isn't up; she's doing a good job. But if they're reporting you,
that's interesting. Yeah, before I got that live banned, I was shockingly in gifting making anywhere from $25 to $50 a night, which was bonus money to me. I didn't even expect to get gifts. I mean, that wasn't even part of it. Of course, I watched you and I saw how you were promoting the gifts. I started doing that. Well, then my gifts went up. When I came back after my 1 week ban, it went down, but I worked really hard. I worked hard. I was consistent going live, and then it kind of raised up. But now, let's fast forward after the TikTok ban here on January 19th and coming back, you would croak if you saw 2 cents I made one night, $2.42 one night. I'm like, part of it for me too is that you can't buy the coins through the app right now in the US. You have to do a workaround. So I know that adds to it. But has that affected your income? Because I know you're in Canada.
Oh yeah, my income, I wouldn't. Since the ban, I would say no.
Okay.
Now, like maybe a tiny percentage, 10%, because of people who don't want to make the transfer and go online. And one of the things, like I work with the people at TikTok, and they're like, ask the people to send you a screenshot of the error.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be, because then you're like, oh, I can send this to the Stars Don't Dance agency, and they'll tell me what's happening. And so right away, when people do that, they'll back off and they'll stop saying that they can't get it, because they're like, well, we're proof, because the situation's fixed. But some people don't want to transfer back into gifting. It's like they got back. It's like they married the non-gifting entertainment style again. You know what I mean? That's what's happening.
I do.
Oh, I don't have to do it right now because they're just using it as an excuse. But I think as time moves forward, that's going to wear off as well. And I'm not sure what's happening in America. America's turning the lights off, and things have changed. Come on.
I know.
President, there's a lot of new rules coming in all around. And that is on the table for everybody right now, and including TikTok. Come on.
Wow.
Like, that's what we're dealing with. Like right now, Canada's dealing with tariffs. I'm sure that these are all companies.
Right.
And 2 cents. Even when you're talking about $50, I'm like, $50? Like, oh.
That's nothing, right? Hey, my highest night, I made $275. I had a guy coming in there who was sending me the big animated gifts. He came in one night and he was gone. I'm like, no, come back. Come back.
There's ways to see all that. So, it does. And that's why there's certain tactics just to use the technology to organize and to entertain the people who value you. And it's very important. And I think that the app can tell you when you're entertaining people who are going to maintain within their ecosystem. It's super important. That's why I was trying to say is like when it's taking 60% of the market share, it doesn't want to let go of it. And so it's not going to let those guys or you take those guys somewhere else. It doesn't want
Yeah.
to let you.
Yeah.
And
That's
so and that guy who
interesting.
showed up, I mean, how do we keep him?
Yeah.
He spent $500 if you got 250.
I know. Isn't that crazy? And I think something interesting between you and I too is your audience is largely made up of females and my audience is largely males. And so I do think that that has an impact on, here's my theory, and I hope I don't get crushed from people watching this episode. So you have mostly female fans and viewers, and they will figure out how to do something. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not afraid to put the work in. So like, you can't buy coins on the app. Well, then I just need to go over here and I'll go do that and everything. I have men who go, oh, that's too hard. I can't do it. That's too hard. It takes too much time. That's what I think. And I'm not saying, anything against guys. Don't get that. It's just that I think that they just don't put the effort in.
Oh, it's 50-50 then.
Yeah.
You gotta, I would say that the work that I put into creating the relationship, and it's
Yes.
behind the scenes relationship, and that's all of this community building and entertainment. And then all of that, when I look at the really successful female creators,
Mm-hmm.
they have less men. They only need 2 or 3 guys who know how to play. And same thing a lot of times with
Gotcha.
women, but I think for a male creator, he needs a certain, there's a threshold for women to trust. Whereas like a level of, like a size. It sucks to say
Yeah.
number because I wish I could, like, oh, I'm so authentic. That's why they trust me. But they also have a large audience. And that's why I'm so focused on entertaining first, because women won't
Okay.
join my show and celebrate and think I'm valuable if it's just the two of us. Women are awkward, whereas like 2 or 3 guys like that. That's what I'm finding with the guys. So
Yeah.
like the women have 2 or 3 very close connections, and these guys like are throwing down alimony payments. It's mortgage payments, ladies, and so you got to find the right guys.
Right. Correct.
And it's different, I think, as a woman, and that's what I'll say. That actually, guys, maybe it's because you maybe wanted to get 5 or 6, and the fourth and fifth ones were like, I don't want to do this. I got a girl who's got, and men have that tight connection, so it's learning how to now grow that male community.
Camaraderie.
And there's camaraderie within that, which I've seen. Actually, I've mentored some friends who have done incredibly well building a very competitive group of men together. I'm like, damn, and they're kicking my ass. So since I've been training with ladies and making suggestions to people that have been so successful, women, and it's similar to what I'm doing, but with men. So and I think men in general are in tune with sharing generously. Before, it's more natural for men to want to do that immediately than for women. So I wish I had tits and ass, baby. If I had tits and ass, I'd be a millionaire by now. I would be a millionaire if I had tits and ass. That's why one thing I'm telling all the ladies out there, because a lot of ladies now, there's a duality there too. If you want to talk about it, like a lot of women I don't want to be tits and ass. I'm like, but you know what? Actresses are never not tits and ass. You know, when you're entertaining, like you're always looking for the highest. You got to be. That's a part of it. So when people try to reject the sexuality, I'm like, but it's about attraction that stops people. It's entertainment. You have to be an entertainer.
You are absolutely right. And I think, now thinking about it, I am probably not focused on entertaining. Instead, I'm focused on funneling to my OF. And so you're right. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that advice to heart.
It's not advice. But I'm a comedian, by the way. I don't give advice. I'm a comedian. This is stuff to laugh at.
The information that you just brought to light. But what I do love about your room, though, because I'm in there, those ladies, they will throw down for you. I mean, they are so loyal to you. And I think that is amazing that you've built that community. And it's fun to watch, especially when you go to battle. Now, the other day, here's a funny, follow up to you had requested me. I was live and you requested to go live with me and we did a battle. Before I brought you into the room or, accepted the thing, I think I had 10 or 12 viewers, which is nothing. I realize that, but I feel like got a shadow thing going on. The minute I went live with you, they left. I had 2 people in there. 2 people. I think you had something like 50,000 points and I had something like 3 points. Do you remember that? And I was pissed. I was so pissed that when I got done battling you, I logged off. I filmed a rant and I'm like, not the rant, and I'm just like, I go to do a battle and it's not about the money. You guys just leave. Anyway, I did get some good feedback from the men, my viewers. And it was very interesting. It was very interesting to me. And I'll share with you what they said. Some didn't comment on my post. They DM'd me instead. They said to me, if I'm watching you, I don't want to see another male pop up on the screen. Isn't that interesting?
I get that all the time. So I usually, I can keep
Really?
going. Go on. Tell me more.
No, that was it. And I just went, this means I can never go live with a guy
No,
ever.
that's not
And
true. And so what I piss off men, and that's why often what happens if your room, now I'll make some pokes. Your room's at 10 people, focus on that entertainment. Don't even think of a funnel until you have 50 people or 30 or 20 people. You can't even entertain the idea. You could, don't even battles may not be, don't accept battles. Another thing you can do is maybe bring people up, do some multi-guesting to test.
okay.
Multi-guest with big guests, like not nobodies, like experiment with your friends, other women.
Okay.
Just a multi-guest for the entertainment purposes. Now 10 means it's not like you can't do a 10. So whenever I have friends who are entertaining 10 people, I'm like, fucking change something. Fucking change. Hit the likes, get them to hit the likes, scream more likes, scream more roses, like scream engagement, scream get the fuck on my team. This is super.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Oh, God.
And if they're not on your team, then you talk to people on the team until they talk to somebody else to getting on your fucking team, because it's the team members because you're getting reported. Remember, so if you got 10 people on the team, then it's going to want to give you an opportunity to get 10 more. But if you don't have, if it's giving you 10 people, you didn't get anyone on your team, it doesn't want to give you more opportunities because you're not taking them. Plus, you're getting probably hijacked by the 10 people you're talking to. So you got to know who to talk to. That's me. All the time. A lot of times people are actually entertaining trolls. You got to be very careful. If they don't value you, you can tell. I'm like, it smells like I'm talking to shit. I'm getting the fuck, and I talk shit. Haven't you ever heard me flip? I get angry.
Yeah.
I get angry. You think you're angry. And so, because I spend a lot of time there. And
you do. We're going to talk about
the fundamental is it's entertainment. The funneling is like the cherry.
Byproduct.
It's the cherry. So you have to put, and that's again where I'm cutting into the fact that it's that mainstream, and TikTok's cutting in to that 60%. It'll eventually be 75%. This type of platform, the mainstream is going to take up 95%. The is going to be done at the 1%, and it's going to be on like this. It's going to be in your own private phone calls, and you're going to have a guy that valued you on this so high that you're going to bring him into that room. It's like, do you know what I mean? And so I was just thinking to myself how I think the era of the one video for everyone is gone.
Right. It's personal connection.
And so, so when you're, and that's entertainment. And so I have a philosophy on what entertainment is and what I'm doing in there. And same thing even here, like you want them to come back, you want them to engage. I think that entertainment should be authentic. Like when you're being real authentic, and that includes maybe communicating about why you're funneling people in and being able to create that real authentic dialogue. So, because if it's a funnel, it's not always that authenticity, right? You're trying to show them where the authentic is, but I'm like, you got to learn to bring that place in here because it enlightens them. Just like this, like right now, the more honest I could be about the information, the way I see it, then you're going to want to come back. You're like, damn, what he told me was legit. And he's probably got other little diamonds in there. And that's coming back.
It's true. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
You got to turn them on. And turning people on is giving them access to who you are and your flaws so that they don't make those mistakes. So they watch how you fix your own mistakes so that maybe they won't make those mistakes.
Okay. That, and what you're saying makes sense because I have posted some TikToks where I had no makeup on and I kind of like make fun of myself or something. Like one night, what was it? I was like, oh, this is right after the ban and nobody could go live, but I didn't know that. And so I'm like, I can't go live. Sorry, guys, I was going to go live. Maybe it's because I don't have makeup on and I scared TikTok or whatever. That has my most engagement because, that's kind of like a behind the scenes type thing. So what you
Real.
said makes
That's what it
complete
is.
sense.
So it's the
Complete
lifestyle,
sense.
it's behind the scenes, and our product is kind of the byproduct of our
Yep.
authenticity. It's what we resonate to others just by nature, and that's what turned into the Cougar Crusade.
I love that. Let's talk about how many hours you do stream, and then let's talk about the Cougar Crusade too.
How many hours? I stream lately. I've been streaming since the ban. I've been streaming 4 hours a night. Not enough.
4 hours? Gosh,
Yeah.
some nights I'm going to bed at 10:30 p.m. You've been on since 6, and when I get up in the morning at 6, you're still on.
Yeah, I had a 17-hour day, which was through the roof exciting. For
Holy
me, I
cow.
loved it. And so it's a part is I had great engagement. I had this fuel going, guiding me. And so if you don't always have that, and I can talk about what gives me the energy to keep going and all that, I think I understand. So
I want to hear it all. We all want to hear it all.
my Boss Vloggerson, which is my original account. So I've gone through some ups and downs with a ban and losing an account and then starting a new one and then joining the TikTok agency. And recently, right before Christmas, I was also kicked off for a suspension. Like I said, I had been trapped.
Oh,
And I got
okay.
a suspension, and I was like, okay. And then I went back to my old account, and my old account, I went live. It had maybe 200 less people in the room. So it went down from 250, 150 to like 30 to 50 people, but it was fucking so good. No trolling. All these amazing women showing up, putting hearts on my head right away. Like everybody, it was like the algorithm knew who I was, kind of, and it loved my videos. I had 100,000 views on some videos. So I was like, God.
Wow.
So I stopped going live on my old account that was actually supervised and looked after because I was, and then also, that's what you're watching. You're watching some guy go live for 12 hours a day, 11 hours a day, 8 hours a day minimum. And then I went for 17 hours one night, and it my whole scheduling, and I slept a lot, and I haven't been able to get back in the rhythm. And that's another part about entertainment. I don't think you can entertain people like really effectively in this really tight, dynamically place if you're not like you need all energy on this.
Yes.
So if I'm off, like as soon as I'm doing it 4 hours, and if I get sleepy, I'm not gonna win. Like that's what I mean. So often you're watching people like boring. Like you can't be here if you're not on your goddamn A game. Like this is an A game place. You're watching those points flow in. Those points don't flow in if I'm sleepy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and then I also get more energy from when I'm not deleting and removing trolls every 2 seconds, and I'm talking to women who are actually encouraging me. So building a community that's really strong and that lifts you up is like holy. But that's also algorithmic. So the algorithm kind of caught on. I got trolled again. I could tell the trolls found me again, and right away, and it's like the brakes are on a little bit, and then I don't have the same strength. It's like I'm fighting, and then I get tired, and so there's ebbs and flows, babe. Ebbs and flows in this thing. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, it does. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so you tend to stream overnight. Have you found that to be your time when you are on? Because some people are day people, some people are night people. And how is that compared to streaming daytime?
You look at the bigger picture. There's no time frame, right? Like I'm talking to people in Australia where it's daytime. I might be a night guy. I think a part of a tweak for success on platforms like TikTok is there's no day and night. Like turn off your light and you're in the metaverse. You're in a whole different world where it's kind of just 24. And I think of it as like a nightclub. It's always a nightclub. And if but that's my problem is like I kind of got this new schedule in, and I've tweaked my mind to think I got to go on at night, but really I could start at 2:00 in the afternoon and close the drapes. No one's going to know the difference. I'm in a studio.
Got you.
Tweak that shift, and so really go on when you got the energy for it.
Yeah, that might be where I'm going wrong too, because I keep going on at night, and I got to be honest, by the end of the day, I'm whooped. I've done live webcam, I've done OF, I'm tired. And
Focus on entertainment.
my resilience for these guys that come in and piss me off is low, and I snap back. So yeah.
It's fun. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that's what I think performers I like talking to women who have been in a performance industry because this is exactly that. Like, you don't want to perform for people who don't give back, and
Right.
that's what I mean. People don't understand that this is just like that. In real life, if people aren't tossing at you, you would be dancing for them. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
That's
same
true.
thing goes with but sometimes people will give leeway to those 10 folks in your room. Be rough, start building your platform. It gives you strength, but you don't show up there and having expectations of somebody while you're laying there. I mean, like, because there's people sleeping on the app. There's people begging, like guys in Pakistan and Palestine, literally begging. I'm like, this isn't
Right.
begging. Like, this isn't. You know what? Make a video and entertain us in Pakistan. That's gonna work. You could be a Pakistani
Yeah.
entertainer, someone from Africa in all sorts of cool ways. But there's a lot of people in like refugee camps and so on. I'm like, it doesn't work
Right.
for them because they're not entertaining. But I bet you if they just made some videos that would draw attention in a different manner,
Right.
it's
Right.
that's a big deal. Literally it's entertainment, babe. It's so important to entertain.
You mentioned, I want to address this before we talk about Cougar Crusade. You mentioned trolls. Can you talk about that more? Because you have been very open about you have a lot of trolls and that, they come in and they attack you. How do you deal with them? Because, man, sometimes I just hit the block button and I don't say anything. Some nights I'm just like, go off.
If you look
So,
up
how do
Jacob,
you deal with them?
you just have to
Huh?
look up Jacob Boss, look up Boss Vlogerson. Anywhere there's like thousands of mimics, and it's how am I dealing with it? In the beginning, it's frightening because you don't understand. And now I'm used to it. The big deal is that they affect your audience because your audience doesn't know the difference. So we still live in a world where people don't know that this is this ecosystem. That's how people do it. So, and especially the
Mhm.
mature women of the Cougar Crusade, there's a lot of them coming out of divorce, and
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean. And they're getting duped by some fake Jacob. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't have Telegram. And like, it's happened. That's my big issue. So my stress is
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I have to prevent. And then I get upset when someone gets catfished.
Right.
That's probably the most upsetting thing. So if you're not getting, if they're not hurting your friends with fake profiles of you, it's not that bad. And once they start hurting them, it's it's demoralizing. And I think that's some of the stuff that's really big deal on the internet. This is some
Yeah.
difficult stuff, and those are some solutions that I want to find for the world. Actually, those are the real trolling. These people who use images to it leads to like extortion, right? They
Right.
extort people with
Mhm.
images and so on. They use your
Yeah.
images. And yeah, so we need to create a safer space for that. There's a huge gap in that. And that's something I do want to address and probably one of the main concerns of the Cougar Crusade.
Okay.
So for real, like,
Yeah. How about the trolls that come into your live feed too?
well, that's what they are. So my trolls, like recently, and this has happened in the past, but I had some new trolls on this new account, some really good ones. They're like, I can tell there's some either kids or something, but they'll mimic my audience. So they'll come in as my friends.
Oh,
Imagine that. So
yeah.
you're talking to them, but they've been watching you for months, so they know your audience, right? They know what, and then
Okay.
they lead you on. It's insanity. You got to be very critical. It's very important that everyone starts develop. It's a value add. If you don't add the value, you can see it because when you add value on those applications, you probably just like in any other streaming platform that maybe the ladies are streaming on, they get a little mark if they got coins. If they ain't got coins,
Right.
you don't talk to them, right? It's like you're talking to homeless
Okay.
folks. And that's what I mean. You got to be very careful not to acknowledge, even if they're people sometimes that are good, but if they don't
Yeah.
got any value, you got to be careful because they could be manipulated.
Yeah, because that was my question. How do you identify that? Like, I do have a fair number of guys that come in and chat that have never bought a coin.
You don't
And
talk to them.
I've literally called them out and said, Rick, you need to buy coins and get on my team.
That's your job. Before they get anything else, before you entertain them, before they get in the
Yeah.
nightclub, You got to get and they're not a girl. You know what I mean? It's like before they get in the nightclub, you don't just let randoms in. You got to be real careful. That's the trolls.
Do you mute them then if they don't buy coins or if they keep coming in? I mean, I know the mute's only good for that live, right?
If they have a 0, it's so easy to block somebody who's never going to add value to your life. It's so easy to just go, even though it seems like they're engaging. Listen, without they could be engaging, but if they're a 0, they're not engaging. It's like they're a bum that wants to come into your house. You got to be real careful, man. You wouldn't let a bum into your house. They're gonna stink up your house. You're gonna lower the value for the people who are engaging with you, who want to see you succeed.
But if you block them, if I block them now, it's going to show them I blocked them. But aren't I opening myself up to get reported more by them because I pissed them off now?
So I've blocked so many people. I've maxed my blocks, and so what I do now is I have to scroll to 2 years ago. So this old account, even this Boss Vlogger account, it's 2 years old, but I maxed out. So I'm scrolling low to 2 years blocks. Like I'm trying to find like people that I hopefully, and it's usually just the women that I unblock. I unblock folks so I can block the new folks. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have a phone open to my block list, scrolled like 2 days low. It takes so long to scroll so I can start unblocking people that are no longer relevant in the hate group.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work going on back there. And so a lot of the muting goes into your community building and your moderation. Your moderators, your moderators are super important because they're people who know you, who know who you block, who know who you. So it's super important.
I don't have any decent. I've only granted that privilege to 2 people. One disappeared completely, have no idea, and the other one, he's in the military, so like he's there maybe 2 days and then he's gone for 2 weeks.
No,
and
it needs. So do you go? Are you consistent on there? Because they got to be as consistent as you.
Yeah, I do have I probably have about 6 guys who consistently, no matter what time, what day I go live, they come in, they get on the team, they'll wipe out one of my goals.
Pick one of them, pick the best one. So the rest might want to consider maybe leveling up to his level. Pick the best one and ask him to protect you and ask him to help you make more money and ask him to help you with the funnel. Like he's got to know. If he'll know, he'll know. Okay. That's what she's there for, right? After a certain point, if they're there with you every day, they know what you are. They know what you want to do.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's the type of thing. And then that's also really important for you to have like a clear vision of your dream, right? Like why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? What's that going to lead to in the next year? Where are you going to be in the next year? And how does that relate to them?
Right. Well, and I mean, for adult industry folks like myself, it is more important now than ever to create that safe for work following, because we're just, we're getting muted, banned, deleted, losing accounts on all social medias because they want to kind of erase us.
It's legalizing. So yeah, that's why I've been trying to say it's that 60% market share is going to grow to a bigger percent. This mainstream is everything. It's your storefront. And what happens behind the closed doors is nobody's business. That's why it's so important. Don't let the bums in the back.
Yeah.
Don't let the bums in the back.
Well, I'm going to have a whole new, tonight when I go live, I'm going to have a whole new strategy.
And it starts with your numbers. Because you know what? The numbers, if you have 10 people, people don't want to go. I think it's like that more for women because men are kind of like, I don't know. I'm a man. I don't know. I can't entertain men. I don't know how to, which I think is also good because not very many people entertain the ladies. So I feel lucky in that way. And men are entertained differently, but look to try to put 20 people. I can't guarantee it, but look for what changes that number and then stick to it.
Yeah. Okay.
More above making money. Above making money, you need the audience in the room. And then the money will come. You got to love what you're doing.
Yeah.
So when people, another thing that's happening, that's like,
I'm discouraged right now. I'll be honest. So like, it's like, I got to go live on TikTok. That's my feeling. I want to change that within myself.
Yeah, and you go on there as like this entertainer, right? So that's what's been happening to me. So those long nights, all of a sudden I got stuck and I'm like not excited to go on. That's an issue. That's a huge issue. Yeah. Just so you know, that's one of the biggest issues. If you're not excited to go on, people will see that. You'll have expectations from them that you're not reciprocating, man.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
real, man. It's so goddamn real. So people
You are
need
so
to.
right.
It needs to
You
be
are so right.
reciprocated. You know, it's a 69. It's a 69, man. It really is. It's a 69,
Yeah.
man. And you can feel what they are doing for you. That's what titillates you to move the next step for them
Right.
and stay within
Okay.
guidelines. You know, yeah.
Such
And
good observations and information, Jacob.
oh yeah, I love it.
All right.
You know what? I did it for the attention. I've been doing it for the attention above all else. The attention is what gets me off, not the money. The
Yeah.
money comes because I love the attention.
Right.
The
That's
money comes
true.
because I love the attention, and people are like, this mother wants this, and I love seeing him get what he wants because it turns me on.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah. I mean, we're all attention whores.
Not everyone is. Not
Cameras.
everyone is.
That's true.
Not everyone is an attention whore. Some people had enough attention in their lives, so they don't care. But I'm like, yo, I can't get enough. I need
Yeah.
another lady in the room. So there's like 10 people here gifting. We need 21. Let's go, ladies. I need more.
Oh my God. Here comes that voice.
Right. I mean, I don't have my little mic.
Yeah. Let's talk about Cougar Crusade. Tell me about it. Tell the viewers, how did that come about and what are the plans for that movement in 2025?
Cougar Crusade is mature women connecting with younger men for long-term relationships, making that normalized. I think it's self-care, and I think that it's the new normal. It's the new normal. Women are seeing that, and there's a lot of structure that we can unravel in that new culture. It's women spitting out. I call it the blue pill of marriage and swallowing a red pill of love, and connecting with men and not giving a shit what other people think. It's mature women often. It's a physical thing. With younger women, I think it's about creating a safer space for them to pursue their dreams, because younger women aren't in the same spot sexually as mature women are, and with
Yeah.
the way intimacy is, and having discussions about that, because I think there's a disconnect. That's so fun. That's what the Cougar Crusade is, because if I meet a woman under 40, I'm going to tell her to go get her mom, because she doesn't have a clue, and they're going to want to argue with me. Like, you know, a 35-year-old woman knows it all, just like a 25-year-old woman knows it all. But for whatever reason, a 40-something-year-old woman will agree with me, like, go away, you're not ready yet. And that's the funny thing, right? That I'm not actually talking, and the young woman will argue with me. And yeah, I'm not having that argument with young women. That's what the Cougar said. It's not an argument with young men. They're right. They're perfect. They know what they want. They're not going to change until they're 40. When they will, and they'll like realize, yeah, there's something new. It's something different. I don't know. It makes sense. It makes sense. I'm a little off. I feel like I need to get into the repetition of things, but mature men, women, younger men.
All right. That's funny because, yeah, what the niche I've carved out on TikTok is the living an ethically non-monogamous lifestyle for 18 years. So I get that, you know, some cougar dating stuff, the younger gentleman will come in and be like, where can I find a cougar, a mature woman, you know? So then we'll talk about that. But I love talking about living that ethical non-monogamous lifestyle for 18 years. And so that's kind of where my channel has fallen, I guess.
So your videos say that?
Yeah.
So on your videos, that's a great opening, right? For TikTok. I've been living ethically non-monogamous for 18 years. That's your opening.
Yeah. I mean, I have some that say that. Yeah.
I got to see that video, I guess. I'm going to go look at it.
Well, I haven't really, I say like, I'm going to a swingers meet and greet. Let's see how many new people I'll meet tonight. Those videos go crazy.
Okay. So yeah.
You know, or like, I'll be like, I'm going to a swingers meet and greet. Wonder how many free drinks I'm going to get tonight. Last month I got 7, you know, I mean, that kind of thing. And those are my videos. And that's watching how those videos performed is where I kind of found my niche.
And that's exactly it. So when you do your videos, when you're doing the live performances, the first videos they see, you actually give them context of yourself as they're scrolling, and then you show up, and she's like, "Oh, it's the ethically non-monogamous," and then they're gonna tap into that. So it's your job to develop. That's the real funnel for me, by the way. That's the funneling, to get them into the live. And yeah, that's the big deal, because if the algorithm likes your videos, it's
Right.
going to push out those, because the live, it can't push out to everyone at once because it doesn't know what you're doing in that instant. So,
Right.
but if your video is successful and going viral, it's going to put, and then that shows up a couple seconds before they scroll into your live. That's
Gotcha.
everything. That's so important.
How important is the caption of your live?
It's
Is that
important.
important? Do people read that?
I think so. I think so. As a man, from my perspective, I think all of it is important. All of it is super, super important until it comes down to like, it's so, and everything else, because when you're doing a lifestyle vlogging, you don't know what's coming out in that moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in that moment, I could just being a regular Jacob, but I have expectations of everything. You know what I mean? I can't always be in this. So, and like, again, when you're spending 12 hours in there trying to get to
Right.
the point where because you want to win, you want to get those people to become on your team. And so everything is just so just in case you're in that instant,
Yeah.
they're so comfortable inside of the context of what you've created, because it's all contextual.
Yeah. Okay. Cougar Crusade this year. You doing any meet and greets, meetups, get-togethers? What are you doing?
So the Cougar Crusade is meeting in Niagara Falls. I think there's no official link though. But I'm saying Niagara Falls, April 11th to 13th.
Okay.
And it's just going to be, the ladies are actually organizing it on their own. It's going to be along with the Stars Don't Dance. And so I'm going to
Okay.
be able to go as a special guest to make this presentation to show people how I light, what I do, show the equipment that I use, talk more or less, and kind of give people a lot more pizzazz and see the real deal. Once you see me in real life, you're like, oh my God, this is all just a big display. And everyone else can do it too. I think women especially, if you give women the tools to, and that's what the agency. So if anyone's listening, if you guys, there's an agency I want to refer you guys to, Ruby's definitely involved in it. And it's exactly that. If you give people the tools to be like, oh, then, and the confidence, then they'll start pursuing that. And like you have already, you had a lot of confidence going live already, but
Yeah.
I'm going to show you some of the tools, some of the like little things that I do because you're with the agency. And I'm just a mentor. I'm not a part of I don't own the agency. I'm just a headhunter. I'm just meeting people. I'm like, this is a consideration for you. It's groups of people that I like communicating with. And if you give them the tools, the Cougar Crusade is like, I'm sorry, that the events are going to be where I can show them how I do it and hopefully give them the confidence for these longer term relationships. So yeah, we're doing events.
I call you the cult leader of the Cougar Crusade.
It's culty. Why is it culty? You know what? That's the thing. Why is it culty? What's a cult to you? What's it mean? Why am I a cult leader?
Your ladies are dedicated to you, and a few of them have bubbled over to my room, and they are amazing women. They are, they are women who support women. I mean, you can tell that you've created an environment where, yeah, they might be a little competitive, but yet when it comes down to it, I've seen it when you battle, they are laying down some coin. They are sending some gifts.
But also they're going to visit other women and they're not tearing you down.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're competitive when they need to be.
See, when your men see me, like when men see me against them, men are like, I hate this guy. Like, why is he even here? And often the girl that I'm talking to kind of likes me. She's like, there's something about him. And they hate that. That's what causes.
You have a very charismatic personality.
But the women on my team are always like, she's so pretty. And I'm like, man, these guys want to crucify me. And my girl's like, but we don't want to crucify her. We love her. And I'm like, that's the difference between my audience and the men. And I'm like, yo, and if you look at my chat is healthy. And the good chat, it's like, they're looking to make their dreams come true. They're not tearing people down. We're talking about ideas. We're not talking about other folks. We're doing our best to win. Because fundamentally, what I want to do is build a studio to highlight my friends. I want to put sets in the right light. If you came in, people can come and visit. Imagining a studio and for TikTok, meet people. They know what I want to do. I want to do it's a nightclub that people don't want to shoot up because it's full of women.
I think you're definitely leaving a legacy in TikTok.
Beginning. I hope so. And I don't want to be a bad thing. I really think the Cougar Crusade's a healthy thing. I've connected with younger guys. I was in relationships with mature women my whole life, and if they were healthy, mature women, they gave me room. They didn't try to control me, and they gave me space to find myself. And that person that you guys watch is somebody who is free to be himself. It's an inner child.
Yeah.
And like women love that. And so like, again, the entertainment goes down to like, this is not rocket science. This is actually us ditching school and playing in the playground.
Well, you inspire me every time I watch you. So thank you.
Well, we should keep battling. And yeah, you're going to come and kick my ass soon. Watch, you're in the agency. Watch, I'll get you. You're going to kick my ass. It's a goal for me. I'm going to help you create, I hope to give you the confidence at least to get a team that's going to smash like crazy. Definitely on your horizon, by the way. In this year, I guarantee it. And you're going to watch not your OnlyFans income, but you're going to get a mainstream income. It's the mainstream income.
Right. Yeah. Well, as we close out, I want to thank you so much for doing this and all your wisdom. Tell everyone where to find you.
Oh, at thecougarcrusade.com. So it's backwards, I think, for you. It's because it's for my phone, but it's thecougarcrusade.com.
On TikTok,
if you guys want to go live, you can reach out there if you want to. And if you haven't gone live and you want some inspiration, a friend of mine, I'm recruiting for an agency, which, Ruby, you're a part in. And I'm going to bestow most of my wisdom there and a lot of what the little secret ingredients that I haven't mentioned. And
can you shout out that website? It's Stars Don't Dance, correct?
It's at stardon'tdance.com. Sure, yeah. If they want to go through that, they can go to stardon'tdance.com. I'm not even sure if I should shout that website out. Like I said, go to the Cougar Crusade, DM me, and then I can reference you to them through me if it's through me. But you can go to stardon'tdance.com.
Yeah, likewise too.
It's for women. It's for women. Women in the industry too. Like the woman who runs it is it's Seska, so she knows all about the industry. I promise you guys.
Yep, she does.
And she's actually also one of my main, I would say, information partners. She's helped me create this dialogue.
I love it. What a team. Thank you again, Jacob. I'm going to try all your hints and I'm doing it.
Also, I got more hints. I'll go through Seska's thing. I won't put them on here. I'll tell you. I'll make some questions to you.
They have to go there. That's great.
Yeah. No, I got for your room to have more people ASAP because you don't want 10. 10 ain't it. If you got 10 people in your room, you definitely need an agent.
I know. Thank you, Jacob.